elections.
Yes.
First, you have the highest number of votes. Again, not the majority, because sometimes people confuse that. Majority means over 50%. Highest means even if you win by one vote.
It doesn't necessarily have to be 50%.
Yes, it can be one vote ahead. So the
Yes.
highest number of votes, that's the first condition. The second condition is that you must win 25% votes across 2/3 of Nigeria's 36 states, which is 24 states, plus it is an and FCT.
You must win FCT.
You must win at least 25% in FCT.
Okay.
So even if you win those 24 states, you have 25%, but you don't get 25% in FCT, there's a problem.
Wow. Well, that has just been an added one. That has just been included.
That is your constitution.
That is the constitution.
That is your
That's the
constitution. And I'll give you the section of the constitution so you can go and check. That's your constitution.
That's the constitution.
Yeah, that's your constitution.
Well, Emmanuel, yes. I mean, it is 87 million, right?
Yes.
That's the
Yeah,
number.
so just for people who are watching, the section, yeah, for those checking who want to go and look at it,
Yes.
section 134 of the 1999 Constitution, which talks about second round and third round and all of that.
Section
so
what
we
again?
could take 134.
134.
So we could technically go to a third round, by the way.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yes. So if your first round doesn't produce a winner
So
that
first
has
round,
the
you are the
spread.
winner. You have the most votes, and you've gotten more than 50% in.
No, first round you win outright if you get the most votes and you have your spread.
Okay, and then this.
But if nobody gets it and you still have popular votes, you don't win it.
Does that apply to the second person that comes into follows you?
So the second person is decided based on whether they win majority votes in majority states, and that's over 50%.
Majority votes in majority states. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
right. So those two go to a second round. The conditions are exactly the same required of the second round. You must win majority votes and also have the spread.
But this time it's just two parties.
Yes, just two parties. If at the end of that you still don't have a winner, then you go into a third round where a simple majority will determine the president. So the requirement for spread is removed when you get to the third round.
Looking at the strength of let's say the top 3 candidates or parties, do you see the possibility of a runoff?
It's a very difficult situation, but I think the matter has been interpreted before, around 2008, in a matter involving the current president, Buhari, when he filed an action. The issue of whether that and in between, that is, must have 25% in 2 states and the Federal Capital Territory. I think the pronouncement then was that the and is conjunctively. That was the interpretation then. But you know, it's about 14 years ago. It's enough time, maybe. The Supreme Court may have another look on it. But as of now, that is the interpretation the Supreme Court gave in 2008. I don't want to go into details because the matter is now sub judice. About some states have already filed an action to challenge the legality of the election. So I am confining myself to what was the interpretation of the Supreme Court in Buhari's case in 2008.
Okay, just...
The interpretation simply was that...
Sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to get some clarification, which I'm sure is what you're saying right now. So please proceed.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. I'm saying I cannot go deep into the matter because already actions have been filed at the Supreme Court. And I'm just giving you an instance where there was an interpretation by the Supreme Court of that provision or a similar provision. The interpretation was that and federal capital should be construed conjunctively. In other words, it means you must get the 2 days, the 25% in 2 days, and also you must get 25% in the Federal Capital Territory. If you go by the interpretation of the Supreme Court in 2008.
Far more important is the provision of section 134, subsection 2B of the Constitution. It is to say, it to the fact that no presidential candidate can be declared a winner in this election without having 25% in the Federal Capital Territory. That is very important for the whole world to know that tomorrow's election, whenever to be finally declared, apart from having 25% in 24 states of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Federal Capital Territory is like a compulsory question. You can answer all that question. But Federal Capital Territory, without having 25%, you go nowhere. This is important. And finally, the broad outline of the 21st century, Dr. Abati, is clear. It offers opportunity for people who can work together.
Welcome to my channel, where we discuss everything and all things politics, especially about the 2023 presidential election in Nigeria. All things being equal, unless there is a dramatic event, nothing is going to stop Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu from being sworn in on May 29, 2023. This is even more so as the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, has said that no court can stop the inauguration of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the INEC declared president-elect from the February 25 presidential election in Nigeria. Now, there are other matters pending about his emergence as president-elect. But the one that is very obvious to a lot of Nigerians is that of getting 25% of the votes in Abuja. Now, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the All Progressive Congress presidential candidate, didn't get 25% in Abuja. That is a certainty from the results INEC declared and used in declaring him president-elect. Now, section 134, subsection 2B of the 1999 Constitution states that where two or more candidates contest for the office of the president, for anyone to be declared winner, he must A, get majority of the valid votes cast, 2, get 2/3 of the 25% of the vote cast in 2/3 of the 36 states of the Federation, that's making 24 states, and Abuja, FCT, making 25 states. That is what the Constitution says. But Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu was declared president-elect without meeting this particular requirement. Now it is a subject that are being debated in the court of law, in the election petition tribunal. But why this is very strange is this. Before the election, Mike Ngine, former resident electoral commissioner for Akwa Ibom State, on February 24th, which you saw, the interview you saw on Arise TV of Mike Ngine, the video, part of the video you saw, was Mike Ngine warning that the election that is going to take place tomorrow, that before anybody could be declared that he had won the election, the person must get 2/3 of the states, of the 6 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. You heard him there clearly saying that Abuja is like a compulsory question that you must get. Even if you get the other ones, if you don't get it, you failed. Mike Ngine was specific. And if Mike Ngine, a resident electoral commissioner in Akwa Ibom State, knows this, it is therefore a given that Professor Mahmoud Yakubu was aware of this even before the election. Because Mike Ngine, a resident electoral commissioner cannot know more than the chairman of INEC. So the INEC chairman knows that 25% in Abuja is compulsory, but he willfully declared Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu the winner of the election, and then direct everybody to go to court. Now the court he is directing everybody to go to, who is aggrieved, is a court that Michael Anduaka, the man you saw there, you can see he was saying in the video you watched that, look, if you don't get 25% in Abuja, there is a problem. He admitted that there is a problem. He admitted that there is a problem. And he now made reference to what the Supreme Court ruled about this matter in 2008. And he said that in General Buhari versus Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, the Supreme Court ruled that the and in between 36 states and that it is conjunctive. That's what the Supreme Court said. It is a plus. When you get the other one, when you get 24 states across the country, then you must get FCT to make you eligible to be declared president or winner of the election. He said that the Supreme Court has settled this matter. Then he tried to be clever by half by saying that maybe this Supreme Court will change its mind. And I have said this several times. The Supreme Court cannot change its mind in a matter of this nature. How many years is 2008? Supreme Court judgments that are over 100 years, even during the time of the colonial master, are still being applicable today. So why would the Supreme Court reinterpret what and mean when the Supreme Court in 2008 said that it was conjunctive? Why should they come around now in 2023? Because APC is involved, because Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is involved, and say that it's no longer conjunctive. It is now just like that FCT, any state can replace FCT. So if you get 25 states, if you get 24 states or 25 states, excluding FCT, you are home and dry. That's not true. That's not the intent of the authors of the Constitution. Now, in what the first video you watched was that of Kaderia Ahmed, a veteran journalist who used to be at the center of presidential media debates. You saw the analysis she gave before the election. She was very practical about it. She said it clearly, in clear language, because there is no ambiguity in section 134, subsection 2B of the 1999 Constitution. She said it there that after getting 24 states, getting 25% in 24 states, you must get FCT. Now you ask yourself, where are these people now? Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to be sworn in on May 29, 2023, in a few days' time. Have you heard about Mike Ngini talk again? Mike Ngini has a right, he has a patriotic duty to speak, to tell Nigerians, to remind Nigerians that getting 25% in Abuja is compulsory, just as he sounded a note of warning. In fact, he could use his video to do the necessary enlightenment. He said, and remind everybody, look, I said this thing before the election. I said this thing before the election. Now everybody is hiding behind a finger. Nobody wants to stick out his neck and talk. At this time that we are in this country, silence is not golden. silence from Kadira Ahmed. We know Kadira Ahmed has taken up a lot of issues that has to do with this country and stick out her neck. Why is she silent? She knows from her analysis before the election, she knows that the constitution is being violated. That Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not get 25% in the FCT. Yet she is silent. She's not alone. Michael Anduaka is silent. Michael Anduaka is a former Attorney General and Minister of Justice of Nigeria. He was the person, a minister, when the Supreme Court delivered the judgment on Buhari versus Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. So he is talking from a point of a vintage position of knowledge and authority. Why is he silent? Why is he not saying anything when people like Femi Falana, SAN, appears on TV and claim that Abuja is no different from any other state? Why is Michael Anduaka silent? We haven't heard his voice. Even his intervention on Arise Television was because he was asked a question about the status of Abuja in terms of 25%. But we have a situation where a lot of lawyers are misleading people. Yet, Anduaka is aware that the issue of 25% in Abuja is a settled matter. Why is he so silent? Why is he so quiet? What is he hiding the knowledge he has? Which law report was that particular judgment written so that it could be a reference point? Anduaka is not doing that. Instead, what he is telling us is that the Supreme Court may change his mind, which I found abnormal. He ought to by now say, look, something is wrong. The swearing in of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu without meeting the requirement of getting 25% in Abuja is a constitutional violation. It is a patriotic duty on the part of Anduaka to say something, but he's not saying anything. Instead, what he's doing was in that video where he's just shaking his head and saying, it means there's a problem. There's a problem. Problems are meant to be solved. If that particular judgment of the Supreme Court was not cited, it was not in any law reports, let us know. Anduaka ought to tell us where it was written in the law reports. Or if it was not written, give documented evidence to buttress the fact that the Supreme Court has already settled this matter. We cannot have a situation where Supreme Court justices give justice based on their own personal whims and caprices when there is already a precedent that was set by the same Supreme Court. Anduaka is not saying anything. He is not talking. He is silent. He wants to keep silent like this until Asiwaju is sworn in on May 29. He ought to draw the attention of the world. Of course, the Secretary to the Federal Government said nothing can stop the swearing in. At least let it be so, but let it be known that some men of knowledge, men who knows the law, men who know that Supreme Court has already taken this matter as a settled issue. Let it be known on record that Michael Anduaka shouted from the rooftop that the Supreme Court has settled this matter. That ab initio, Professor Yakubu Mahmood had no business declaring Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu without the election. And Mike Ngini, he's also hiding. He's not saying anything again. He's not saying anything again after that. After the election, Mike Ngini has not mentioned the 25%. He was warning the whole world that they should take note, telling Nigerians that Nigerians should take note, that 25% in Abuja is a compulsory question that must be answered. Where is Mike in Guinea? Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be sworn in on May 29th. Nobody can stop it because federal government appears to be determined to swear him in. Fine and good. But let it be known that Nigerians are no fools. That there are men of integrity, men of character, men who knows the law that pointed out that, look, this is wrong. Even though you are doing it, know that it is wrong. We know it is wrong. It is wrong thing you are doing. But you can go ahead and do it because you have the indices of, you have the power in your hand. You have the enforcement of law in your side. Nobody can stop you. But be aware that we are aware that this is a violation of the Constitution. What you are doing is extra-constitutional activity. That despite the Constitution, you are going ahead with your inauguration. Nobody will stop them. Nobody can stop them. The instrument of power, authority are with APC and the government. They can swear in anybody they like. But let it be known, people who know ought to say something. And this is not restricted to Kadir Ahmed, who also knows with clarity what is required for somebody to be declared president, as she eloquently explained in that panel discussion before the election. Why is she silent? Asiwaju is going to be sworn in. She has not written any article. She has not written an opinion. She has not done nothing. She's watching silently while injustice are being perpetrated. This is not time to keep quiet. Silence is not golden. As I said, the government is determined to swear in Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. No matter what anybody does now, whatever any court say right now. And already the court is far from going to the position of stopping it. But even if any court is to make such a pronouncement, Secretary to the federal government said federal government is not going to listen to the person. There must be a transition, and it must take place on May 29. Asiwaju must be sworn in. Even though there are those who have gone to court to stop the inauguration, but they want to give us the impression that some people want to form an interim government. No. The Abuja citizens and registered voters that went to court to stop the inauguration, they didn't say that there should be interim government. They cited section 135, subsection 1A, which said that when there is nobody that made the requirement to be sworn in, that it means that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari subsists. It means that Buhari will continue to be in power. So there is nobody calling for interim government. We only get to hear about interim government from Governor of Kaduna State in his speech before the election, when he alleged that there are those who want to stop the election from taking place and that they are operating from the presidency, who want to ensure that the election doesn't take place so that they will form an interim government. And he alleged that it's already a retired general who was penciled down to head the interim government. He was the first person to bring in interim government in the lexicon of Nigeria since we returned to democracy in 1999. Because if you look at Nigeria's recent political history, when we transit from Obasanjo to Yaradua, nobody mentioned interim government. When Nigeria transitioned from Jonathan to Buhari, nobody mentioned interim government. Interim government appeared in Nigeria political lexicon in 2023, and it was brought in by the APC governor, El Rufai, who alleged that the fuel scarcity and the money scarcity before the election was instigated to cause crisis so that there will be no election, so that there will be an interim government to be headed by a retired military general. They were the one that brought interim government into the picture. So the petition, I have taken my time to study the petition submitted by Abuja residents and registered voters. What they are saying, they didn't call for interim government. What they say, if Tinubu did not meet 25% to be sworn in, then his inauguration should be annulled. Then, in place of him being sworn in, citing section 135, subsection 1A, then President Muhammadu Buhari can continue to be in power until such a time that a president will emerge who meets all the requirements of section 134, subsection 2B of the 1999 Constitution to be sworn in. That is it. But people should not keep quiet, keep silent, and allow what is happening just to happen like that. Nobody is going to stop APC with the instrument of power from inaugurating Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu on May 29th. But let it be known, let it be shouted from the rooftops that what they are doing was a violation of section 134, subsection 2B of the 1999 Constitution, which is far higher than any other act of the National Assembly, including the Electoral Act. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, Google will rank it high and recommend it for more people. God bless you and yours.